Back with another one, back with another one. So finally, all the claims that been against Africa Bambaataa for, messing with the young men or children, that came out, and he lost the child SA case and trafficking lawsuit by default judgment because he did not show up at court. In 2021, a man sued Africa Bambaataa alleging that the musician abused him for years in the 90s. The hip hop pioneer never acknowledged the lawsuit, leading to a default judgment against him. In the summer of 2021, a man identified as John Doe sued African Bambaataa, accusing the hip hop pioneer of SAing him and trafficking him between 91 and 95. Wow. The alleged abuse began when Doe was 12 years old, while Bambatta would have been 33 or 34 years old. Bambatta, whose legal name is Lance Taylor, never entered a legal response to Doe's lawsuit. So Judge Alexander Tisch has now granted a default judgment against him without opposition, online New York court records show. As a result, Bambatta has effectively lost the lawsuit, and an assessment of damages against defendant Lance Taylor shall be referred to a special referee for inquest. John Doe filed his lawsuit some 5 years after Ron Savage came forward to say that Africa Bambaataa SA'd him in the 1980s. And he wrote a book. I remember that interview, and he cried like a baby. And on them interviews, even with Sinetta, he said how he can't be intimate, he have a hard time, and he cried. Man, you gotta pay Bambatta, you do. Bambatta denied Savage's claims, calling them baseless and false, but shortly after, more men alleged that they were also SA victims of his. Bambatta denied those claims too, and he has since largely stayed out of the public eye. Yes, he has. Back in 2016, Africa Bambaataa denies accusations he SA boys. 2016. And again, the French artist Solo came out against him and said that he did that to him. Hassan Campbell came out and said he did that to him. In 2023, somebody else came out. Three people came out against him in 2016. And it just go on and on and on. And basically, that's it. So I'm just going to get straight to the videos because, oh shit, here we go. This was 8 months ago. A video.
Now, if you can do your best to
This is Alley Cats and Road Dog.
just to repeat back as much of the question as you remember within the answer, because I'm going to edit out my voice.
Time when we it was a time of fun, time of many action. Black people, indigenous name is code. Well, the evolution of hip hop, coming from back in the days where you had the great Pooh Hurry, myself, the Grandmaster Flash, and many of the other pioneers, the Distant King Marios, the DJ Breakout, the Funky Four, the Treacherous Three, the Crash Crew, the Cold Crush Brothers, so many brothers and sisters, Lee, Sharad, Pebby.
I remember Sharad.
It started in black community. Black people, indigenous name is the Moors. The Americans as the Native Americans before other Native Americans. It was a time of fun, time of many action, time of certain violence, time when we started bringing peace, unity, love to have some fun. The time when we had the B-boys, the B-girls, the DJs, the MCs, the aerosol writers, added the fifth element, the knowledge. And it was a time when we just came from the civil rights movement of so-called black people, brown people, red people, yellow people, white people, and the times of human rights in the continent of America and a place called the United States America Republic. There was many things going on, many confusion, many mind controls, many different ways and actions of the different people, diverse people of the continent. So this was a time of bringing a new movement off the back of soul and R&B and funk, which is called hip hop. Hip hop itself has always been here in a form of one of the elements called rap from the ancient days of Africa, and the prophet talked to the great creator, who is called by many names. Too many of the early songs, recordings of different groups throughout the times that had spoken words, like the Last Poets, the Watts Prophets.
Oh yeah, my mama got the last chorus. Let me see if he gonna say anything.
To cause destruction within the movement and bringing a mentality of I don't give a damn, or using your styles of rappers to dumb down the people and to call women out their name, and people become bitches, hoes, and niggas. Whereas it was also used as political strong sense to wake up masses of the people. So we got to look what has happened to bring negativity within the culture, who hijacked hip hop culture as a movement, and why was it hijacked to just talk about so and so quote gangster rap. Now gangster rap, which I don't have nothing against, because I've agreed that anybody should be able to say whatever they want to say, think with no holds barred. But we saying to a lot of these so-called radio stations, if you're gonna play one style of hip hop, play all the different styles.
I agree with that.
We don't care if it's hip hop, soul, R&B. What we did to better civilization on this whole great planet that we call Earth. What are our indigenous names or so-called tribal names, and how do we get away from tribalism? What we say in the Universal Zulu Nation, we say wherever our people at, I'm at. Not saying that we are in the crack house or doing anything negative, saying wherever our people at, we don't care what religion, you come from, what nationality you call yourself. If you say you Husi or Tutsi, I'm both of that. If you say you're a Comedian or Asian Kemet, which is Egypt, I'm that too. I'm
I thought she was gonna get in asking him.
on the earth as well as in the earth. We are not alone on this planet or in our universe. Many African people knew that from ancients of days, that we are not alone in our universe, as well as when they went to Mars, they found pyramids and they found sphinx in the area called Sidonia on Mars.
That's true.
And
They
some say
did.
they found
Okay,
it.
well let's I had enough of that. All right, let me go ahead. I thought she would have asked him about the charges. She did not. Okay, this is the Zulu Nation in 73. This is 73, the Alpha, the strongest. This is where Bambatta is from. And this is Zulu Unions, chapter 25. Oh, that's Ice T. Oh, this is just the pictures. I thought this was the picnic. That's from 1973. Oh, shit. Oh, I'm trying to get rid of it. Now, these are the victims of Bambaataa.
This is Terry Seuss Entertainment Vids. I wanted to talk about the allegations against Africa Bambaataa. Now, if you look at the history of rap music, the history of hip hop, Africa Bambaataa is one of the pioneers of hip hop. He's one of the founding fathers of hip hop. And for a lot of you younger folks who may not realize, is that rap music started during the mid 1970s, and it started with DJs like TJ Kirk, Africa Bambaataa, and Grandmaster Flash. These are the three founding fathers of hip hop. Now, there's three men who have accused Africa Bambaataa of sexual assault. They say that Africa Bambaataa sexually assaulted them when they were kids. Hussein Campbell, Ron Savage, and another man also accused. Now, he's been kicked out of the Zulu Nation. Africa Bambaataa started this Zulu Nation during the 1980s. This is an organization that he started, and the Zulu Nation has kicked him out of the organization.
As they should.
Even members in the organization say they've seen Africa Bambaataa molesting young black people. So I don't know if this is, he denies all the allegations, but why would three grown men, come out and say that they've been molested? I think the allegations are true.
They are.
And when you look at some of Hussein Campbell's videos, you can tell he's struggling living with this, knowing that he got molested by African Bambaataa. Now, I've never been molested before in my life, but it was big decision.
Yep.
Hussein Campbell said he was molested when he was 12 years old by African Bambaataa. And you can tell when he talks about this, it hurts him. It hurts him to talk about it. And he's still psychologically trying to deal with this as a grown man. So when I see a lot of these ignorant people on social media fun of Hussein Campbell, I just think these people are ignorant. If you've never been molested before, you don't know what this feels like. You don't
Facts. You don't.
how much psychological
And girls.
I believe Hussein Campbell is telling the truth. I believe Ron Savage is telling the truth. I saw an interview with Ron Savage where he was talking about how when he was a kid, he was molested by Africa Bambaataa, and he was in tears. He was crying during the whole interview. I believe this man, he led a secret lifestyle. To the public, he was a pioneer. He was a founding father of hip hop. But in private, he was a predator. In private, he was a sexual predator that abused young boys. And these young boys are all grown up, and they're still living with this damage that he did to them. So I think a lot of people need to wake up and realize that this is not a joke. This is not a game. Any person that molests children deserves to be, he deserves to go to prison. But because of the statute of limitations in New York, they're not going to charge him with anything. There's like a 10-year statute of limitations in New York. So if somebody sexually assaulted someone more than 10 years ago, there can't be charges brought against him. But they still can sue him. They can still sue African. So hopefully that happens. But I believe these young men are telling the truth.
I know they telling the truth, but actually, he ain't got no money no more. I don't think African Bambaataa got no money like that for a lawsuit.
And this is Born Love to God once again, going in hard on this Bambatta thing, man. I'm glad that on May 7th, man, all the black media wants to get together on our 25th Street and go through it. And we ready. You know, I'm ready to get the interview. You know, a friend of mine named Lois from Bronx River. She's a good friend with Star from Star and Buck Wild on radio, and he ready to do the interview, and I'm all in, you know. But we want to go a little further than that, man. I want to tell you how he disrupted like everything about how the hip hop experience was to everybody who was around him. You know, like when he was he did a video out in DC. The first
This is the immortal thought.
video was done by Africa Bambaataa.
This interview was 9 years ago.
And we went out there, and you know, on the way out there, I freestyled on the bus for half an hour straight in front of Red Alert, Pow Wow, Chris Ali, the Violators, everybody from from Bronx River, and they attest to it. And at the end of me freestyling, Pow Wow just threw me his hat, like, yeah, man, you went in hard. And so later on, when he was getting ready to do the Free Mandela video, he must have heard about it or whatever. But I had seen him, and he was on his way down with some lawyers and to go see Professor X from the X Clan. He asked me to do some chauffeuring on driving because there's no parking down there. So he was going down to somewhere like Maid Lane down in Center Street to go get some checks from some lawyers that he was dealing with. And then we went to the Black Watch headquarters on 56th Street and 6th Avenue. And so we was down there, we did everything, and on the way coming back, he was like, yeah, you could do your vocals. I'll let you come up to Strong City, after you go to Bronx, do what you got to do, and then you come up to Strong City, lay down some vocals on the track, and we can start that, when we do the video tomorrow. So I went up to Strong City, and I was hyped up, I was like, yeah, that's gonna be a good look. Boom, get this on and popping. And I get up there, and we was going to do the vocals or whatever, and then here he come with his bullshit. In order to do the vocals, it was basically assessed that shit that he into was more or less part of the gratuity package from his end in order for me to lay down some vocals. So I was like, well, I guess I ain't laying down no vocals. So that was that for that. And then, later on in the video shoot, my man Saladin was there, and, he was doing his shoot on the set of the video. And a chick that I used to deal with named Marty from Binghamton, who was stripping out in DC at the time, she was like, trying to get out there to DC, take care of me and all the rest of that. But that's another story. But I refused to get a video. Me and, my co-defendant Supreme at the time, I was like, yo, we not getting in there. You know how this dude is. So we never got, I never got in the video. But it was a good look that the video did take place because, 2 weeks after the video, they had actually freed Nelson Mandela because it was a free Mandela video. And it didn't go nowhere as a video because it was so effective, I guess, to a degree that Nelson Mandela was freed in 2 weeks. But, that stymied me from really trying to really be about hip hop. So when I was locked in, strapped in Franklin Correctional Facility with Black Rob and Boosie B was up there, and Boosie never wanted to the penitentiary studios. He wasn't with it. But Black Rob was always trying to push me over there like, yo, boy, just come through, do what you gotta do. This can work. We can do something. And I was like so perplexed by what I went through with Bam. I was like, man, I don't think they can work with none of that. I ain't even trying to do that. I'm gonna just try to do what I was doing. And Boosie was more or less like, I'm not gonna go up in that studio, but if you was gonna really go up in there and try to do something, then I'm more than likely I'll probably come through and see if I can help you out a little something. But I really was reluctant to it. And then I seen Black Rob in '93, and he was on his way up to Yonkers. Just when Puff first started dealing with the Bad Boy situation, and I was with Black Rob. He was on his way up to Yonkers to go to the studio up there. She puffing on me, and I was, he left the door open for me to come up there with him, but I was like, man, it's all right, Rob, man, go ahead, man. So the next thing, I was with the artist, Bio from Tat's Crew.
He was so traumatized with what happened that he just stopped even dealing with the music industry, which was smart because it would have happened again. Now this half pipe. Oh damn, the video gone. Let me get rid of that. Allegedly, OG Half Pipe says African Bada sucked KRS off. The video is gone. That's the title of it. And KRS-One had never came out against Bambatta ever. This is Ron Savage.
When I'm having sex, it's like you can't initiate touch me. I have to know that you're gonna touch me. And when you go to touch me, it's like I have to brace myself. This is going to brace myself just for you.
This was 9 years ago. And he wrote a book. This is Ron Savage.
When I was younger, I was molested by Africa Bambaataa. Africa Bambaataa is the founding father of hip hop. He's the co-founder of the Universal Zulu Nation. He's done tons of records, like Planet Rock, Looking for the Perfect Beat. I met him when I was around 14. When I was in the 9th grade, I was cut in one day, and I had called Africa Bambaataa, and because I didn't have nowhere to go, so I went up to his house. He paid the cab, and I was in the living room. Another gentleman was there, and it looked like they was DJing. And Bam told me that I could go into his bedroom because the TV was on. So I went to the bedroom, and I was in there. And I said I was in the bedroom no more than 3-4 minutes. And Bam took out his penis. And he started jerking it. And he told me that for me to take mine out, everybody does it. He unzipped my pants and he took it out and he started jerking it. And then he put my hand on it and started making me jerk it. Then he left the room, and the guy that was in the living room told me to get out. And I got up to bed and I left. Another time,
But you went
to
back.
my house. The thing that really stayed in my mind and really freaked me out is I had to lay on the bed and I had to cross my legs. And he will put his penis in between my legs and then pump up and down. And I remember at the time I had this big guy like on me, and from that time I bugged out. I'm not gonna lie, like it confused me, like, cause I never had sex before in my life. No one's never touched me like that, and to be touched, my first being touched with a man. During the course of growing up, I told like my close friends what happened to me because at that time I didn't know who to trust. You know, I didn't feel safe because they all used to come to my house, like the Zulu Nation Council and BAM. So I didn't know who to turn to. I didn't know who to trust. I didn't know if I told was something gonna happen to me, was something gonna happen to my sister, to my mother, you know. So I just held it in. I used to keep it bottled up, and going across with my girlfriends and stuff like that, their thing was that I didn't know how to show affection. So I used to blame myself for that because I didn't know how to show affection. And when I'm having sex, it would stay hard and then go back down. Because while I'm having sex, I would think about Bambatta, and then it would go down. And, you know, that's the things that the girlfriends like, and I blame myself for that. And
That's deep. That's deep. And I said I was going to buy his book. I'm going to see if it's still available. That'll be a nice read for the book club. I didn't realize I had all these videos. What is this? 9 years ago.
I was doing so much other work in the community at the time.
A Fox 5 exclusive, one of hip-hop's founding fathers speaking out for the first time on television about shocking child abuse allegations. And the list of accusers is growing, and they all tell similar stories.
Africa Bambatta being accused of sexually abusing several underage boys decades ago. Lisa Evers sat down with him for an exclusive TV interview to answer the allegations. She joins us now, Lisa.
Well, Stephen Derry, Africa Bambatta brought peace to violent city streets, but now he is accused of a crime that is tough to forgive, molesting boys. He sat down with me for this exclusive interview, and no questions were off limits. Have you ever abused any underage boy?
I never abused nobody. You know, it just sounds crazy to people to say that, yeah, you abused me. You know, my thing is, you know all my people back then. You know the hundreds of people that been around me. You know, if something like that happened, why you never want to? None of them.
It also sounded crazy to many fans of his 1980s hit song.
This is Fair Use reaction to the video being played. Fair Use 1976 doing a reaction.
professor at Cornell and invited to speak around the world. He told me the accusations came as a shock.
What is the motivation?
Yeah, what is the motivation? What is the agenda?
Do you think there is an agenda there?
It's hard to say. You don't know what many of these people are thinking, what is behind it. Some parts I seen like it could be shakeups. Certain things people might have wanted.
Bambatta's chief accuser, Ronald Savage, is 50 years old. When he was 15 and under the age of consent, playing hooky led to his first sexual experience with the hip-hop pioneer and was followed by at least 4 other abuse incidents.
I didn't have nowhere to go, so I had his number.
Well, we just saw that. Oh, shit. Okay, here we go. So. Oh my God. All right, it's going to have to be a part 2. All right, y'all. Like, share, subscribe. I'll do part 2 tomorrow.